So Ravens flock, we are officially a few days away from training camp officially being underway, which means we're that much closer to football coming back into our lives. And to end this week, we've gotten some good news and also some bad news, or at least some slightly bad news. It's kind of tricky, but I wanted to start with the bad news first. So rookie third round draft pick Emory Jones Jr. He's been officially put on the non-football injury list, which isn't that much of a surprise to us because John Harbaugh had mentioned pretty much right after the draft that somehow, at some point, Emory got a injury to his labrum, so he's dealing with that. It was already mentioned that he's most likely not going to be ready for the start of training camp, so it's not that surprising that he's being put on this list. But it still makes you a bit concerned because we all know we've had a history of drafting injured players who were literally injured during the draft or shortly after the draft, and in many of those cases, you really don't see those guys come out. So I'm not sure if we're going to see Emory make an appearance at any point. Hopefully he does. Since they put him on this list, he technically could be brought in at any moment. He could be activated at any moment. So even though he's not going to be available for the start of training camp, I'm assuming that he should be ready maybe by preseason. Maybe we could get a glimpse of him. We'll see. I am a little disappointed because I was hoping that maybe he could compete for the starting guard position. Now, obviously, I know he's a rookie, and I know the Ravens have a very strong liking for Daniel Falele and Andrew Voorhees, regardless of what we think about him. But I still would have liked to see Emory out there competing. I know, obviously, he's played tackle, but the Ravens drafted him as a guard. So I'm assuming their ultimate plan is to develop him into a guard, whether it's this year or whether it's next year, because I doubt they're going to re-sign Falele. I'll be shocked if they did, but I really doubt that's going to be the case. Either way, and maybe we'll see him preseason, but even then, that, in my opinion, that's not nearly enough time for him to have a shot at winning a starting spot or winning an opportunity to even get a reasonable amount of snaps that he could, get, well, a reasonable amount of snaps for a rookie who we don't expect much from, because we all know that in order for him to have a shot at getting these guards that we have off the field, he would have to first of all, he would have to be healthy, but secondly, he would have to have just a beyond spectacular training camp, and that's obviously not going to be the case. He's not even going to be out there, so it is what it is. But in other news, Mike Green has officially signed to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, for the people that weren't aware of what was happening across the NFL, almost every second round draft pick chose not to sign yet. They were standing in solidarity with each other to try to negotiate better deals for second round draft pick, to negotiate deals where they could get a higher percentage of their contract guaranteed, to get some fully guaranteed deals. And the reason they were trying to do that is because second round draft pick Jaden Higgins, who went to the Houston Texans, he got a fully guaranteed contract, which was unprecedented for a second round pick. And obviously these guys want to try to get the most value they can, because even though they're not first rounders and they may not get as much attention as first rounders, many of these guys are still extremely talented and prospects that have massive potential, especially somebody like a guy like Mike Green. We all know in the case of Mike Green, his fall has nothing to do with his talent, because as far as talent, he's the second best edge rusher as far as potential. Will it work out that way? Only time will tell. I think it will, but only time will tell. But as far as potential and as far as production coming out of college, like, no other edge rusher in this class was better than him except Abdul Carter, of course. But off the field issues messed up his draft stock. He fell to us. And him, as well as many of these other people, they may have a wide variety of reasons why they may have fallen, whether it be because people didn't believe in them, or whether, whatever the case may be. Many things happen. These guys want to band together to try to get better deals for themselves, and it's essentially been a stalemate with the NFL. As we all know, I talked several weeks ago about the collusion that was exposed, that we all knew was happening, but it was exposed with NFL owners banding together to not give players fully guaranteed contracts. And even in that video, I kept saying it's a shame that many of these owners can do this so effortlessly, but you don't see these players make any attempt to try to get better deals for themselves. But now, with a situation like this, it does kind of feel like a step in the right direction where they're trying to really fight for each other so they all could win. And you're seeing with training camp approaching, it's been announced that many of these second round picks are officially signing, because before this week, the only second round draft picks to sign were Jaden Higgins and the guy from, I forgot his name. I think it's Carson Sweshinger or something like that. The guy who was drafted to the Cleveland Browns. Those were the only two rookies that signed out of the second round. But now, over the past few days, we've seen all the dominoes start to fall. We are starting to see a lot of these second round picks get deals, and also in many cases get either mostly guaranteed deals or in some cases fully guaranteed deals, like Luther Burden for the Chicago Bears. Reportedly, he got a fully guaranteed rookie contract. I forgot the other, like there's several guys, I can't remember all of them right now, but several guys who aren't on the Ravens, obviously, they got really high amount of guaranteed money. In the case of Mike Green, his deal is worth $7.4 million, more or less. They didn't announce how much of that's guaranteed, which I thought was a little interesting, right? Because we all know the history of the Ravens not wanting to give Lamar fully guaranteed deals. So then you got to think, obviously, they don't want to really give anybody a fully guaranteed deal in Baltimore. And I'm interested to see how much of Mike's deal was fully guaranteed. I'm gonna guess it's somewhere in like that 75 to 80% range, which still, I mean, I'm sure he still would be excited about, right? Because most likely, the most realistic scenario is maybe the first year or two is fully guaranteed, and then after that, it may be up in the air, maybe a much lower percentage, or maybe nothing at all is guaranteed. You would have to see. Either way, no matter which way you slice it, Mike Green is officially a Raven. He was already a Raven, but now he's officially a Raven. Pen has been put to paper. I'm excited to see him this preseason. I'm assuming he's playing preseason. I'm excited to see him play in the season. I don't know if he's going to have a super crazy year, because you do have other guys in the depth chart ahead of him, like Odafe Owe, who is entering a contract year. He may possibly go crazy. Kyle Van Noy is like 80 years old, but despite being a really old veteran, he still produces, and he may still end up giving us 6, 7, maybe even 8 plus sacks. And then also you got other guys like Atavius Robinson, who the Ravens really value, who has obviously worked his butt off over the years. But even then, even with all that, I could still see a scenario where Mike Green, even with limited snaps, he can mess around and get like 7 sacks. Like, that's the type of talent we're talking about with this guy. So I'm excited. Let me know, are you excited about Mike Green's rookie year, or do you think it'll be maybe a more quiet rookie year where he may just be sitting behind everybody learning? And also, do you think Emory Jones Jr. will be ready before the start of the season to get on the field?